I go off like hug size. Yeah. Okay.
She actually told me when I was losing a bunch of weight, she goes,
not too much more.
Don't lose any more. I'm like, really? She goes, nope, this is it.
Because before him, I dated guys who were all my size. So if I'm like less than 120 pounds, and this guy, I'm like, that's not what I want.
It feels like you're hugging a girl.
Yeah. Do you feel safer dating?
I feel like if I feel like I can put the.
Yeah.
Do you feel safer being married to a bigger, thicker guy?
Yes. I need that. I need your. And then so when he had injured his neck, like a year ago or so, and he was in a neck brace, and I'm thinking, like, my mind starts spiraling, like, what am I gonna do? Like,
within the first day, like they told me this,
like you're dying.
You're broken.
No, not you're dying, not you're dying, but like the way I look at you is gonna shift because I see you as this big, strong man who can pick me up, take me where I need to go. Like you're gonna protect me, and now I have to protect you, and that's not what I was in it for. Like I need that from you.
Yeah.
I need a protector. I don't want to protect nobody else.
I think that's a height thing too. Like why you want like tall guys is like because you want to feel like when you're walking on the side of the road, like you're not going to be protecting him.
Bro, I already got it going against me. I'm short. I got 3 kids. Apparently, I'm rude. I ask women their weight. I'm not doing so hot over here, bro.
It's okay. We'll teach you lessons. Don't worry.
To start off, you need to date someone who's shorter than you. Right. So unless they like short guys, like I don't know.
Stop. I'm trying to be someone's Lord Farquaad. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me be.
Oh man.
On that note, welcome to episode. This is gonna be 9.
I don't know. We shouldn't say it because Kara got.
Okay, yeah, because last time y'all were like, okay, we're going into mid-October, November, and I was like, it's September 30th.
We're early. That's a good thing. We're early.
Yeah, but you got me confused on even what.
Just say this episode. Welcome to this episode.
Yeah, right.
But I know for a fact it's 9.
But what if you end up plugging it in later, or, repeating it later down?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of the
That's his 2. That's his 2. He's keeping you happy.
Basically.
Pleasing.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, yes, on that note, welcome to the T.N.D. podcast. I'm your host, Alex Sanchez. We are here with El Mero Mero, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dave Ramirez.
Yo.
His lovely and better half, for sure better half,
yes.
Miss Kara Ramirez.
Hi.
And then our guest today, Chrissy, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's Tomatic.
I was way off.
Tomatic. It's Croatian, so just think of any Croatian last name you've ever heard.
Okay, one more time.
Tomatic.
Tomatic.
Christy Tomatic.
There's no L in there whatsoever.
No.
I don't because like how I was pronouncing was like
Tomatic.
I was like putting a lot of accent to it.
So I think because I'm half Hispanic, people try and say it like in Spanish.
I think that's
but it's my white side. It's Tomatic. It's Croatian. So it's like say it in English. Tomatic.
Okay. Well, welcome, Miss Christy. So to give Miss Christy some love. So she's obviously with our partner, our ministry partner, Jordan Outreach Mission. I can't talk.
It's
Fred.
Jordan Outreach Ministries
Thank
and
you.
Fred Jordan Missions.
There it is, right there.
Dave tends to mix them a lot
I do.
together.
I corrected him yesterday, and I was like, you know what, just deal with it, whatever
He
you
says
want.
Fred Jordan Ministries. We're like, missions, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I messed that up too, though.
Yeah. We
But
both
it's
did.
both. So it's Jordan Outreach Ministries and then Fred Jordan Missions. Yeah.
One more time.
Jordan Outreach Ministries and Fred Jordan Missions.
All right. I can remember that. We'll see what happens. But anyway, welcome.
Thank
you for joining us today. And off camera, we're not going to be able to see her, but your sister's here too.
Yes.
And she's filming.
Yes, she is.
Okay, like, does
Filming producer today.
Okay, because you're a fellow podcaster as well.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself an influencer?
No. I mean,
Yes.
See, okay.
Yeah.
So this is-
why? Because of Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think I grew my following. So, like, by a world standard, sure, anything over 10K is, I guess, an influencer.
yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need to be spiritual right now. We'll get there.
No. I'm not. I'm literally being totally pragmatic. So, like, a few of my videos went viral because I had this span last year, I think. Me and Candace were, like, we had Christmas break. We had been working so hard, and we're, like, I noticed there was, like, a glitch in the algorithm, and I was like, things are going viral. So we started posting 3 times a day. We posted over 100 videos. Like, maybe 10 of them, like, went really, really viral to, like, almost 1 million, and that's how we grew our followings. So I wouldn't say I have influence over those people. They followed me because they liked my content. Do they know who I am? I don't know. I feel like an influencer is someone that, like, has an engaging community. So I'm like, I have followers. Do I have an engaging community? They like the sunset. I was literally driving home one day here, and, like, I took a sunset as it was coming down, and I posted it with, like, I don't know, some real audio sound, and it went like super viral. And
She also does some really incredible, like inspirational quotes and things like that, which is awesome. And I think this world needs people like that as well to, you know, because we're in a time that it's just crazy out there, and just to have that, everything is so easy. And I think we should call this show like swipe right or swipe left, whatever it is.
Dang.
Like in a world where everything is like just swipe, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But with everything going so crazy, we need people that are just those quick moments of inspiration. You know what I mean? I'm even like sliding through right now, which I hate doing it, but when I have time off, I'm just like scrolling, and most of it is horrible stuff. But when you cross those, you're like, okay, that's it. You know,
Especially
that's
when
what I
she
need.
uses her ASMR voice to tell you about it.
We were like, she needs to open up the show. Hi, this is Christy.
you're so sweet. Oh my
Do you
gosh.
do ASMR too?
No,
You
but that's what it
should.
sounds like. Yeah, when she does it.
Does it sound?
I was like,
glad.
what? Okay.
Sometimes I get really annoyed at my voice, so thank you for saying that.
No, it's good.
I don't get it.
She
It
dialed
creeps me
hers
out.
in.
ASMR.
Oh, I was like, my
Not
voice
your no,
creeps me out.
that's horrible. No, not you. ASMR. Like I think it, like I was telling Dave.
ASMR.
I think it's like there's no other word. It's so fetishy to me.
It's
Where I'm
more
just
of a
like this
jam-
is weird.
It can be. It
This
can be.
is
It can-
weird.
It can go a little gross. I try it because sometimes I'll try to go to sleep. I don't like it when they ask you questions like, "How was your day?" I'm trying to sleep,
Yeah.
bro. Like, don't talk to me.
That is
Walk through your
creepy.
day.
That is creepy.
Sounds good.
You just turn it on because I'm snoring so loud. So that's.
Basically, but I need to like help kind of just stop thinking my own thoughts. So I'm hoping like this noise will help, but it doesn't. They just ask me questions.
But I can't make fun of people that like ASMR because I like watching like jungle building videos. Have you ever watched those? It's like random Filipino dudes like out in the jungle building like
Okay.
adult tree houses and water slides.
Did they? Yeah, but was there like a pool one or something?
Yeah, oh yeah, they do
Okay,
pools.
yeah,
like
I've
it's
seen the
it's a whole thing. Yeah. I can watch this for hours.
I have seen.
He can keep going. So
Anyway.
we're gonna direct this back. It's
Sorry.
in a
Sorry.
swipe right,
Swipe
swipe
right.
left,
World.
world.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the crazy things that it's hard just to even think about, especially with having kids, is how do you even go into relationships and Christian relationships during this time, right? Like, what does that look like? I know, for us, we just prayed and Jesus just provided, right? That's
me and you?
that just showed up.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so
That's not how
I
it
thought
works all the time.
I mean,
guys.
I realize that.
No, your love story, like I'm gonna say,
But
this is
it's-
our part. It pisses me off.
It's
because it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Like your guys' story is so awesome to me.
But I feel like,
Like,
when
it's a
you just
rom-com
know, you
movie.
know. That's how you guys
Yeah.
are, and with your personalities being like
Yeah.
in your healthy moments in life,
Yep.
I feel like you just knew. And I know when I fall in love, I'm just gonna know. Like I don't think
Right.
I'm gonna be like, do I love this? It's like it's
Yep.
gonna be whatever, however you say that
Yep.
word.
Instantaneous. But I felt like with knowing that both of you, two singles, were going to be here today, I was like, we have to talk about that. Because it's not really something Dave and I can talk about. We have no
Right.
experience in really, well, for me, I don't know. I didn't really
Yep.
date too much. And
Yeah.
then, especially now with like the dating apps and the
Yeah.
social media, like that was, I think I followed you on Facebook after your sister-in-law told me about you. But that
She was a
it.
total 8 where, I mean,
absolutely.
like in life, you're an 11. You're by far past 10. But like on the Enneagrams, it's so crazy because I don't like all that stuff. But if
I
we
do.
talk
It's
about it,
interesting.
yeah, it is. And when I start reading them, I'm like, man, that's it.
so accurate.
Because the first time she messaged me was, you're going to cut that off your face.
Because he was like trying to grow
I
a
love
beard.
that. I love
No, it was a
didn't even-
mustache.
I did, something.
It was a
I
mustache.
hate facial hair too.
I didn't know
He was
him.
like,
I
I'm done.
I didn't know him, and at the time I was like 19, so I really didn't want a man with like a full-grown
Right,
beard.
right.
So I was like,
That makes so much
shave
sense.
it.
That was
Shave
my
it.
first
Get rid of it.
conversation
It
with her. It was
was.
like,
It
you're going to
was.
cut that off,
Like
right?
look
I'm like,
younger. Don't try and look old when you're
Right.
yeah.
But I didn't know how old he was. I didn't know that at the time he was 8 years older
Right.
than me already. So
Right.
it was just kind of like, don't start going. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Then it's gonna look like wait
stop.
what? Like
Yeah.
But I guess really quick, go if you want to just.
But did you know, like, okay, because how you told him that, right? Like, don't grow that anymore. As if, like, no, this is a done deal. You're mine. You don't get to
I
grow that
think-
anymore.
she didn't
No,
ask
no,
me
no.
about
There was
my
a lot of
weight.
audacity in that
By the way.
statement. This is why I'm saying.
No, so the post was like, I think he was asking for opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, bro, I got an opinion.
First
there you
one.
go.
I
If
just
they
put it
ask
out.
for it.
You asked, yes. It wasn't like he just posted this picture of him without that, message of an opinion. Like asking people, what do you think? I was like, shave it. Like, what are you doing? But
just
no, I didn't even
rude.
really know
Yeah.
him.
But really quick, I know the story, but just a quick version of us meeting and how that worked and how quick we are, and then we'll go into what everybody else is.
Okay. So I had was probably a few months out of my relationship with Wyatt's biological dad. We met, shook hands, and like that was it, right? So I think we hung out for like a week because you were there visiting your brother, and I made him buy a plane ticket for 2 months later. So it's like you don't even know what's going to happen within those 2 months, but I just knew like I wanted to see him again.
Right.
So he bought it for 2 months later. Then we dated long distance for 10 months without really FaceTime. We didn't do Skype, none of that. It was we would call each other and then have the same movie start at the same time. And like that would be our date. Like
And
we're
I'd
gonna
ship
talk
her
about
over
the
chocolate or food
yeah.
or we would eat
So
at the
he
same
would ship
time.
me stuff like that. And then I moved out here three weeks before we got married.
Wow.
So, and then that was over 13 years ago. So that was it. So there really wasn't any dating. There wasn't like experimenting. It was just kind of like, I just got out of this serious relationship with Wyatt's biological dad. God showed me Dave, and I was like, bro, you're it. I had never had anyone treat me the way he treated me in that moment, as far as like opening doors for me, telling me like, you're beautiful. I wasn't beautiful. I looked crazy at that time. I had lockjaw. No, for real. I had lockjaw, and I had a cold sore so bad. My lip was swollen. I do. Okay. So my lip was huge.
She had them
lockjaw.
Kylie Jenner.
Oh no, it was so bad. And he was like, "You're so beautiful to me," and I was like, "You're full of shit. Like, stop lying. You're not getting anything. Like, just stop." So,
You're like, what's he trying to
Yeah,
get? What are your intentions?
but all it was,
Oh,
but no,
my.
he definitely showed his intentions.
Right,
Like
right.
within that first week, there was one point where, side note, this is just like his heart.
Yeah.
Where I had this child support check. It was like $50. Okay. And I was going to the bank to cash it because I needed food for Wyatt. And I go to cash the check, and the cashier looks at me, and she's like, there's no money in his account. And I was just like, so she's like, so I can't really cash this check. And I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So I get back in the car with Dave and his sister-in-law, and I'm explaining like, I don't have any money, and they're not going to cash this check that he just gave me to get food for Wyatt. And he goes, let's go to the store. So he takes me to the store. He's like, buy whatever Wyatt needs. And I'm like, this man just met me. Like, he owes me nothing. He's not responsible for anything. And he took me to the Kroger or whatever it was, and was like, whatever baby foods he needs, whatever he needs, just get it. And I was like, dang. Like, I have
like
never.
husband material.
Well, I'd never seen
Yeah.
selflessness like that. Like growing up and you have a traumatic childhood. There was no one there like helping you make it better. Just like selflessly going, how can I support you? So that was like the first time I'd really seen it, and I was like, dang, like I want that. Like I want someone to just love me like that without wanting something in return, but just like, oh, I see you, I see this baby. Let me just help you.
Yeah.
Let me just love on you.
Yeah.
So something for me, like just to rewind, I mean, I was older. I didn't know how old you were at the time. But I remember right before that, I went through this whole time of I'm going to date myself. And I think I told you a little bit about it. It sounds so crazy, but I went through this, like, I can't even deal with myself in the movie theaters with my own thoughts. I was like, who am I going to laugh with? Can I laugh with myself? Can I go to new places by myself? I don't like going in. I already have anxiety just thinking about going into a store by myself, but I had to work through those things. Then I started going down to, hey, how do I want to be treated? How do I want to people to look at me and things like that. And so when I met her, I wasn't going out there to date. I was going out there just to treat her as I would anybody,
you
as
really
in
went out
Jesus.
there just to see your brother,
Right.
And then you happened to like meet me.
So I was like, I'm going to treat everybody like Jesus. So that was one of those things. But what was crazy is during that time, she had no idea. I shook her hand. I was trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, get my thoughts together. And then what shook me even more was when we went out to eat that night, I was like, really quick, so you got a guy in your life? And she goes, yeah. And I broke. I was like, oh man. And she goes, yeah, Wyatt, my little man. And I was like, okay. But I realized that I wanted someone that had two legs. I know that sounds crazy, but all my life I was dating these people with one leg that needed me. They just needed this, so I was holding them up. But when I realized later, I just want someone that when we connect or when we talk or when we have anything, like I'm just an extra.
Yeah.
I'm just that extra thing. So then I went home. I called my buddy and I was like, hey, I know you pray for me all the time. I met my wife like 1 week in. She said the same thing to her sister, which I didn't know. 3 months later, when I'm calling her on the phone, her sister answers. She goes, you better love my sister. I'm like, why?
Mind you, my sister's still in high school. Like,
At
so
that
she's
time.
got a little like teenage attitude, you know.
And I'm like, why? What's up? We're at a wedding. What was it?
Yeah.
Wedding dress shopping.
Oh yeah, I'd already gone.
I had no idea.
I was like, you're my guy.
But again,
That's it.
because of the 8, she told me immediately while I was there. She
Very
goes,
clear.
I like you. This is it. And we knew immediately. But then it was one of those dating moments. And then God just made a ton of things clear, down to I'm sitting there at my warehouse. I'm praying, by myself. Someone's here. I'm praying for just guidance on what I'm supposed to do. And I want to ask her to marry me. And I had no money. I'm a missionary.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in. Sorry, Alex has to go. We're also feeding families in need or talking with people. So.
It's like, and the door's locked.
And the door's locked.
You got your keys?
Or middle school pastors are coming through. You got your keys?
I don't know. Keep going. You guys are good.
Okay, sorry. So where was I? Really quick.
About the ring.
Oh, so I'm sitting there at the in my old warehouse, and this guy comes in. Don't know who he is, and he goes, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me. I came and volunteered once." And I'm like, "Okay, sweet." And he goes, "You told me that basically that God is my provider, and you didn't realize that I lost my job, but you said no matter what, God's going to be the one who's going to provide for your family. It's not me, as hard as you'd want to." And he goes, I really took that and understood and prayed about it. And I also told him, which again, I don't remember. He says, maybe this time is that you need to fix stuff that's happening in your own family. Come alongside your kids, serve along with your kid. He goes, so we've been coming through. He goes, I just started my first job back. And he goes, I wanted to give you something. So he hands me this envelope. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, thanks. He left. I opened it up, and it was the exact amount of money that I was looking at for the ring for her.
Really?
To the penny.
Well, also because the ring I had a very
Oh,
specific ring I wanted. So he takes me to like Costco or something. He's like, "Oh, wouldn't this be nice?" I was like, "I mean, I'll settle for whatever." But like, I had a specific ring in mind, and so he knew like I wasn't gonna settle, and so it was trying to get that specific ring for me. And then the guy just showed up with me. So it was like, that something's right when God has aligned all these things to make it happen. Right. And that's what happened. It's great. So, but again, like we didn't date. So, I mean, we dated each other, but we weren't like on an app trying to connect with people. And it's just like, what does that look like right now? Yeah. And like, what's that going to look like for my children? So I think I can educate myself all day long on the internet, but also just learning from people who have experienced it. And I hear horror stories. Like we have people who have experienced it who have horror stories. And I'm like, man, my kids are too like sensitive and gentle to be like put through stuff like that. Yeah. So I guess.
Or they don't even know like, well, I had a connection back here. Yeah. So it must still be that person, you know what I mean? And it's years later. So it's just, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not like an expert on dating or anything. Yep. Like, I feel like I have no experience in this area, but I do feel like it has a lot to do with my generation and our culture. Like, it's not like even in a worldly sense, like, like maybe more in your generation, it was like, oh, there was hookup culture at least, and then there was like the Christian culture. But now it's like people in the world and people in Christian culture are like hardly dating. It's like a dating desert kind of thing. And it's like, I was thinking about it and I was like, I do feel like it's a big result of like our parents' generation, like either being a lot of people are children of divorce or children of like prison marriages to where like maybe it wasn't a healthy situation, but like they were forced to stay in it for religion's sake or whatever, And I'm like, subconsciously, so even if consciously it's like, oh, we want to be in relationships, we want to get married, we want to like subconsciously all those fears of like, this is what a marriage actually is when you get down to the nitty gritty, and like it's like an underlying fear kind of thing. So I don't know. So I feel like that kind of influences like our generation and culture as a whole. It's just like I read so many things on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, everything. And it's just like, just people so scared of kind of trusting another person that deeply, being vulnerable with another person because of the way they had it displayed in their childhood, you know. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Huh?
I like my so I grew up in watching unhealthy relationships like my entire life, and I think that's why when I met Dave, it was so there was a time, even though it felt so perfect, I was like, oh, this is too good, like this isn't love, because that's not what I had seen. So at the same time, I can understand being turned off by it, being like, oh, that's scary, I don't know what's out there, but then searching for something that it might feel awkward at first because it's like, this isn't what I've seen and this isn't what I'm used to, but it's right.
Yeah.
And this is just healthy. Like, you just haven't seen healthy or haven't experienced healthy.
Yeah. And it's a point of your health, too. Like, I just think, like, I think of, like, my early 20s. It's so weird to say, like, I'm in my late 20s now. I'm 27. But, like, I think of, like, my early...
We're old over here, by the way.
I know, you guys are pretty old, right?
I'm the oldest in the room. That's crazy.
You are. Ooh. I'm just kidding.
She said, ugh.
Okay, Grandpa.
She said, ugh.
Can you see me?
But we can't talk about weight, but we're...
No talking about weight.
Yeah.
Oh, but age. That's like, I got
Age is a
Yeah,
big
God
subject.
forbid you weigh 100 pounds.
What was I saying, though? I forgot now. But, yeah, we were talking about...
I know, I'm the
that happens around here.
Yeah, it's
Whenever
okay. We were talking about, I forgot.
I know, it's me. I'm ADHD every...
Yeah, it's
Every
all
day.
good. Just change the subject.
But it honestly, like you said, I've never even thought about that. So, you know, a lot of my friends, which is crazy, or acquaintances have gone through divorces, have gone through those kind of things, or even our parents have gone through that. So they've only watched families that have gone through breakup problems, gone through that. And they're like, why would I want that? Even like you said, your mom or your family has come from some brokenness. So then you're like, what does that look like? What does healthy look like?
Generations of unhealthy relationships. I think me and you have been the only healthy relationship that my family has seen.
Yeah.
And it's changing their perspective now of like what that's supposed to look like. And thankfully it's setting standards, you know, because now it's like our nieces and nephews will have standards.
Yeah.
My kids will have standards, but because before that it was just like a free for all, like, well, whatever. And then like drama and cheating and scandal and all that, those are just normal things. Like that was just accepted as
and you guys
normal.
are breaking that generational curse.
Absolutely.
And in so many ways I feel like I think I'm cynical by nature. Like even a few years ago I could have told you there was like maybe 3 marriages I respected you know, that I felt like, oh, you guys are like that's something like you want in life, you know. And I think the older I get, the more I kind of become aware, and the more I meet people too that like kind of change that perspective. I mean, you guys for sure, like you guys are a partnership. You're not this like unbalanced type of relationship that I tend to see a lot. So I think it's encouraging, and it's like the more people you meet that like have real love, the more it's like, because you guys are breaking that generational curse. It's allowing others to like, you know, say, you know, it doesn't just have to look one way.
Yeah.
So do you see as well, like I hear you talking about like seeing our family members go through stuff, but what about your guys' generation as well, being like, I have to make something of myself before I bring in a relationship? Is that like does that make sense? Like,
you mean as far as like you want to be in a certain position in life?
Right.
Like I need to be this perfect position of I need to have a career, I need to have a home before I invite someone else. Instead of building those things together, it's kind of like, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to both. Like, I think for me personally, like so when I was little background, like when I was 18, like my parents moved back to the mission. I grew up on the mission field, you know, so like for half my childhood. And when I was 18, they moved back. So I was fully supporting myself, fully trying to figure out life, didn't have anything, didn't have money, didn't have a job, like didn't have a home, like so many broken moments. In a way, I felt like I went through a divorce with family members, you know, like it was just very brutal, and I just felt like I had to grow up too fast. And so it's like when I look at my life and I look at my independence and any success I've had, I don't see it as I went after success and like this kind of agenda that we're being fed, that like women want to be successful or they're feminist or they're trying to be independent before they find someone. It's like I had to be independent, or I had to protect myself. And I know I'm going to be in love when I'm willing to like trust someone enough for them to protect me, you know, because it's like, it's not that I don't want that. It's not like I chose that over marriage. It's literally like at that point in my life too, if I did meet people and if it would have worked out, like, I'm so glad it didn't, because it was so imbalanced. Like, our perspectives, like, I had no stability in my life, that if someone meets you when you have no stability and they have stability, and especially when you're 18, 19 years old, like, guys don't want to be providers or protectors or whatever. They want parents. They want a second set of parents. Like, they want to be a dependent. They don't want to be, like, you know, a man. So it's just, like, so that was always something, like, I was scared to say that, like, oh, I'm on my own. Oh, I have no support system. Oh, you know, because it's, like, it's scary. It feels like I'm asking to be a charity case, which I never was, right? But so like, and you struggle.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier, because I told Alex before the conversation started that I had to struggle with that years after we got married. I think I was probably after I had Waylon. I was sitting there in my depression going, I'm just a charity case to him. Like, I had to really talk myself out of that, because I was like, hold on, no. Like, as much as I know he loved being there for me and supporting me, I had to remind myself that I'm not a charity case. And even for someone who is struggling in that moment, though, you might find that person who genuinely just wants the best for you. And it's like, but you will still think to yourself, like, am I just a charity case?
Yeah.
And then you have to, like, fight that thought off.
You have to fight it off. And it's like, I feel like in your guys' case, like, David was so much older. Like, he was willing to, maybe you didn't have any money, but
no, I had to grow. I wasn't mature until like 26. Like, I was literally that wine bottle that they kept turning. Yeah. Like, okay.
But she's saying by the time you met me, and I needed a man in my life to be like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. Right. That you were ready. But at 18, 19.
You're not ready. And so when I look back at my life, and I think I'm so grateful that I didn't get married young. And yes, for some people it's great because they get to grow with that person. And maybe if they both have a good life growing up and, like, know what it is to be a healthy partner, that's great. But, like, if I was so broken, like, I hadn't even articulated my pain to, like, any level at that point. At 18, 19, I was still trying to just rethink so many things. And as I healed, and as I just found so much comfort and trust in God, and truly found who I was. And also, you know, your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're 25. Not that you shouldn't get married before 25, but I'm like, who I was at 18 and who I was at 25 is, like, a completely different person. Like, I was so black and white as, like, you know, spiritually, theologically, like, just in every area of my life. I was so strict on myself and others. And then the older I got, the more I understood God. It's like I kind of loosened up a little, you know, and I'm so grateful, because I'm like, imagine if I would have, like, you know, met someone or been with someone that during that time it was like all about the ego. Like, you haven't, at 18, you have hardly even had that many ego deaths in your life. And then throughout your life, you go through these ego deaths and these realizations that you're, like, so small in such a big world, and, like, compared to everything, you know? So, like, there's no right way. Get married young, get married old. But I'm like, but personally, I'm very, very grateful that, like, now I just feel like I'm going to meet someone, and I'm going to meet them as Christy and not as 18-year-old Christy. Yeah. You know,
so how do you do that?
How to meet someone?
How do you personally, because I know that there are people who use apps, there are people, like, just social media, or is it through networking? I think for me, like, as a parent, like, I hope my kids do it through networking. Like, I hope they know someone who knows someone who, because that way we know, like, this person, like, we can get their personality from all angles.
No, we're going to move to another country and we're going to set them up. Like,
that was my second option, was arranged marriages. Like, I'm down for that. I will pick them for you. But I think one or two of my kids would allow that. They'd be like, Mom, I trust you completely.
Yeah.
But I honestly, you know what? It's when I see it that in certain ways, not that you should push that person to go over there married or arrange it that way, but sometimes you know your friend or you know that person, you're like, hey, I know a lot. This person would be great with you. So you trusting them. But if it's a Christian...
Matchmaking can be done.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I'm wondering for, like, someone in their late 20s, it's not a bad place to be. It's when you hit 30, you're like, crap. Man, 30 was not fun. It's not fun here. No, and Alex can say it too. 30 and up, man. It's just like...
She's not giving you the opportunity. She's just like, he can say it too.
No, I know.
No, I'm just listening.
I've literally, 30 to 33 has been... And I'm like, I know why Jesus died at 33. It's bad here. Like, it sucks.
No, his timing was impeccable.
Yeah. He's like, you know what?
It's a good time to go.
3 years in my 30s.
He died. Oh my gosh.
It's bad over here.
Right before the knees really start hurting and before the back pain starts developing, he's like 33. That's a good number.
Like
I just turned 40 recently. Well, 41.
Yeah, bro, you're past your expiration date, dog.
I can. It's weird because I'm like, no, your body doesn't do that. I sneeze and my back goes out. I'm like, how?
yeah. So I'm like, but to me, it wasn't even just my physical body, like my mentally as a woman in your 30s, no one talks about it. Like you just kind of like your hormones and just everything just mess up. So it was like all of these things in like pandemic. So it was like pandemic, your mental health, your physical body's going out, 30 sucks. Yeah. So that was that. But as someone, you know, in their late 20s trying to date, how are you navigating that?
I have no idea. Like I said, I'm not.
How would you prefer to?
So
ideally.
So I'm very much so. I think it was like Simon Sinek. I don't know if you guys know. He's like a psychologist, motivational.
No, Simon Says. That's all. That's the one.
Simon Sinek. But he said something recently, and I was like, yes. Like I wish I would have known this when I was.
Yeah.
Got that wheezy laugh.
I know.
It's killing me. That's when you know someone's really laughing. You know. But he said something like, you know, if I could go back in time and whatever, he's like, write down everything you want. And, you know, like, I don't know, like, so I grew up in, like, extreme subculture, Christian culture, right? Like, youth group culture, all that. So they would tell us, like, you'd go to purity conference, get the purity ring, like, you know, write down a list of everything you want in a, they would never even call it partner, a husband, right? Like, it's like, write down everything you want in a husband and then, like, you know, put that away and see how much, like, it's like we're checking off lists. And, of course, as children or youth or whatever, you're in your most ego, like at the height of your ego, right? So you're like, you're going to write down a million stuff that's better than you, right? You're going to be like, I want him to look like this and this.
Chiseled
and be
jaw,
like this.
Jason Momoa.
Yes, exactly. And and you create this unrealistic expectation in your head, right? So what he said, which I thought was so cool, is like, write down everything you want in a partner and go become that. And I was like, and then you'll attract it. And I was like, that is so true. Like, I feel like that's the season in life I'm in. Like, I'm fully going after the things that I've put off for so long because I'm scared of how people might take it, or I'm scared of, like, I don't know, saying the wrong thing if I put myself in front of a camera too much or whatever, you know? And I'm fully going after that. And I fully believe that I will attract the person, you know, just by being who I'm called to be. Yeah. And yeah, whether that's like a DM on social media or whatever, like that's more palatable to me than like swiping right or left with someone that like you have to get to know from scratch. Because I feel like if we're going to go in today's generation of like, but yeah, ideally it's networking, but if it's not networking, then I'd say the next best thing is social media.
What a great nugget she just said. She goes, become.
I know, it wasn't even like portray.
Right.
Don't even portray what it is you want to attract. Don't go on there, post pictures of like you at a mansion because you want somebody rich. But it's like, go own that and be that. I love that though, because also like it kind of weeds out the people who aren't attracted to what you are as a person. Like if you're putting out there that I'm gonna do a Christian podcast, then those people are atheists, like not for me. Yeah. And so immediately you're like, okay, well that was
exactly. And a lot of guys get like weirded out at like a girl talking, right, or a girl talking in front of a camera or whatever. So yeah, if they can't handle that, then they know right away. Like,
I love that though.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. Because not that Dave isn't a catch. I didn't have, no, for real. I didn't have standards. Like I didn't have this list of things that I wanted because that was never taught to me to do that. It was just kind of like, I want you to, it basically, if you told me I was pretty, like I like you, you know what I mean? Because I crave that attention. Since I didn't have a dad, it was kind of like that's what I wanted. So when I met Dave, he was thank God, like he was all the things. But for my girls, now I'm like talking to like, you know, Lila has standards at like 10. Yeah. You know, I'm like, you like a boy, Lila? And she's like, no, none of them are smart, funny, and good looking. I'm like, oh, thank God you've got some standards.
I love your guys' daughter. She's like the coolest person. I'm like, I wish I was that cool at 11.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm like, but I love that even those 4 things, smart, funny, and 3. You got 3 things. That's more. I didn't even have 3. I was like, I don't care if you didn't finish high school. I don't care if you dropped out. I don't care if you're into drugs. Like, I literally, okay? I literally had no standards.
Yeah. Because you guys are instilling worth into her, like just by being present parents, that it's like translating into the way she views men and not men, but boys or whatever, you know?
Yeah, or what she wants for her future. But now I'm going to tell her that little nugget of become what you want to attract, because there are going to be options. I mean, and that was the thing when I was reading about apps. It was talking about it's a perspective, I guess, of options. Like, it makes you feel like there's all these options
Yeah.
so that you skip, I forgot the article, but it was something about you skip the good because you expect greater. But then you're missing out on something that could have been really good for you because you're like, oh, well, there might be something greater around the corner instead of just appreciating what you have. And I think when I met Dave, I didn't have access to all these different things. So I was like, this is good. I'm just going to stick with this. Like, this is working. You know, this is good for me. But if I'm thinking like at 19, if I had had all these options, like what I would have missed out on because I wasn't appreciating what I had been given in that moment.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the con to social media, right? Like, sure, it could be a way to date or DM someone or something, but at the same time, it puts all these unrealistic expectations of what relationships look like because it puts it in a cinematic way, it puts it in a cute way, and it's just like I can't think of how many of my friends I feel like got married young because the person next to them was getting married young, you know? And it's like this
pressure.
competition of who gets there first and then who has the babies first and who does. And I'm like, and I'm not going to bash them and say they all got married for competition, but at the same time, it's like I did see that they wanted to be the first. Oh, well, they were the first to get married, but we're going to be the first to have a baby. Like, who says stuff like that? I'm like, it's a very like fueled by comparison and social.
That was different.
That was different. But I think it's true, especially with Christians right now. I remember like hearing someone, well, as soon as you start dating, when are you guys getting married? Like, we just
Like, you put that pressure.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting married, and you're like, were you even in love, or were you pressured by the people? Like,
Everybody
I know in
around
church, like, girls make their boyfriends, at least in my friend group, they would make their boyfriends do premarital counseling before they're even engaged. Like, they're locking it in. And I'm just like, you're that insecure in your relationship that you have to, like, take it a step further. Like, that is insane. And I'm like... And I get it, like, there's this pressure to get married, this pressure, but I'm like, what about the pressure to, like, end up with the right person, not the wrong person? Like, you know, I don't know.
That would be hard. I think one
Alex is over here taking notes.
No, I
by the way.
just would have quit. I just would have been like, nah, we're done. Have a great day. Before we're engaged?
Yeah, right. It's
You're
weird.
gone. You're like, I ain't got time for craziness.
It's
too
weird.
much.
Nah,
It's trying to lock
I'm
a guy
33
in
with
too
3
much.
kids. You better go on with that foolishness.
So I guess that's where we move. Alex has been a little quiet, so we're gonna get.
No,
him going.
I'm listening.
But I know you are. You're taking it in because you know we're gonna go to you next. Well, you know, Alex, he's got 3 babies. He, you know, married to a beautiful lady.
I got baggage.
Yeah, and
all have baggage.
now he's like. Now he's in this navigating this new world, right? Where he's got his family, he's got this, he knows what he loves because he with Sarah, but now he's trying to be like, okay, what does this look like?
Navigating is putting it nicely, Dave. I'm out here white knuckling right now.
Yeah,
right? I mean, honestly, again, you go to church, you're like, I don't know. Are you going to that like, hey, I'm gonna set you up?
Nah.
Well, how do you know when you're ready, too?
How do you know when you're ready? Yeah.
Like, based on, like, timeline, like, you know.
Yeah.
You can be.
Let me. No.
We'll get to that one.
I'll answer that last one, right? So, the best advice that I wish I had taken came from Kirk Scott. He said, "Give yourself a year."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's stupid." I don't like being by myself, and I figured this out quick about myself. I hate being by myself.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're sitting here talking about, like, dating yourself and going to, like, the movies, I'm just like, that is dumb.
Lame.
Yeah, I
But
couldn't
you
do
have
that.
to find that again. You have to find, like...
No, for sure. No. And, like, that's...
But
we
Alex,
did.
Alex got married young too, though, right? So it's like you
Yeah, I
really
got married at
weren't
20.
by yourself
20?
for
20
very
years old?
long.
Oh, my God.
I was a weird kid. Like, I knew at 7 I wanted to be married and have kids and have a family.
Some of us just are like that. Like, we just know.
But we did talk about the whole movie thing. Yours wasn't going to the movie; it was watching your shows at your house.
Yeah. That's my... So, like, I used to binge watch all kinds of TV. I don't watch any TV.
You can't be alone with yourself.
I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I'll call one of my sons. Like, it's so... So, like, for instance, I don't, like, when she passed away, I don't think I've slept by myself, like, once since then. Because I'll, like, have one of the boys... Or, like, I'll go grab my 2-year-old and be like, not tonight. Like, put him in my bed. Like, I just don't like being by myself. So, that was, like, a big thing for me. But anyway, all I had to say, like, that was, like, advice I'd wish I'd taken. Was
whole
just
year.
give yourself a year. And then you could just reevaluate and see where you're at. And I think there would have been, like, a lot less unneeded drama in my life. There would have been a lot less hurts, and not just, like, on my behalf, but on the behalf of others. And
Because you didn't take that advice?
yeah.
He jumped in
too quick.
Oh yeah, way too fast.
Well, I
and
think
so,
because our brain thinks that we're healed before our heart is actually.
oh
healed
yeah, well, and
sometimes, you know?
my thing is like I knew I wasn't healed.
Yeah.
Like it was just I was lonely.
Yeah.
And that's never a good excuse to be with anybody. It's like when
Yeah.
you're alone. That's like shopping at the supermarket when you're hungry. Like
Well, that's
you just gonna put whatever in the cart. And,
Well, I
yeah.
think that's it. Are you led to date? Or are you filling a void?
Yeah.
Right?
Um,
that's. I'm not saying you. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
In general.
general,
Are you
in
dating?
general.
Are you dating because you're lonely or dating because you're
yeah.
ready? You're
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like I think where I'm at is I don't want to have to date. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to get to a place where it's just like I date because I can and because I want to.
Yeah.
Not because I need to. So like once I get past that, like that need portion, then I'll go, all right, I'm good. But until I'm like over like that need, that's when I would say like that's when I'm going to be super cautious and yeah, a little bit more on guard. So
Yeah. I think even when you're in an unhealthy relationship, not that you were in one with Sarah, but because you lost her, like anytime you have a breakup, I think it's supposed to be, well, this is a long time ago, but I think it was like a month for every year you were together. You're supposed to take that time to heal from that relationship, whether it's like separate yourself from them so if they're still here, right? You move on from them, or to even just heal over that loss. So it was like a month. So you guys were married for what, like?
it would have been 12 years together for like 15 altogether.
Yeah, so
Wow.
all together. So you should have waited 15 months
Yeah.
to heal and to realize who you are without her and what you want from there.
And just identity wise, like I can't even imagine what that is, but it's like I think as married people, you kind of end up becoming almost the same person in so
definitely.
many ways. So like to detangle yourself from that and be like, who am I in Christ alone? Who am I like in my personality again? It's like a season of rediscovery, especially if you got married before you were 25. Like, who even are you? You
Yeah,
know?
no, for real.
You were who Sarah made you.
Here's the
Sarah
yeah.
made this.
Here's the thing. She says she doesn't
house
have
that Sarah
anything
built.
to say in regards to this, but I mean,
got so much
she's the one giving
relationship
all the nuggets right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on, Christy.
Christy knows what she
So
wants.
so right now, like navigating through it, there's like a get together for newly become pastors' wives, right? Like that's a place you go pick up a wife at, or
Yeah,
how do you
no.
do that right now?
So I was
that's another, like-
I was
Is there
laughing.
such a thing as a pastor's wife's club?
No,
like,
but
want
I'm
to be a pastor's wife?
but that's what I'm like. Where do you go? What do you?
That's like Bible college. Girls would go when I went to Bible college. They would go to become pastors' wives, and I'm like,
No,
what do you want to be?
I use the Christian Widows app. That's the one I use.
Oh,
Are you serious?
your brother. If
Listen,
your brother's listening to this,
all
I know
kinds of
he's
options.
dying right now. He's like, oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. We can laugh at it now, but that's Kara's trying not to.
Yeah.
Kara, that's funny. I'm sorry if I can laugh at it.
I laugh because we know. I mean, we discussed this the other day. There's so many options out. You got Christian Mingle. You've got Tinder. You
Yeah.
got Plenty of Fish. I was telling him there's even like a Disney.
Their
loving
tagline
one.
is called "Let's trauma bond together."
There's a Disney one?
There is one for like Disney
Like Disney
lovers,
like Disney adults.
for
See,
dating.
I bet you I can make a widows app and make bank.
Christian
No, you
Disney
should.
dating?
You should.
I'm
love
like
it.
men that are like way too obsessed with childish things. Like, I mean, I understand like Star Wars obsessions and stuff, but like part of you also like, wait a second.
She said it, the exception of Star Wars. So like,
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm like, I'll give him that. I'll give people that.
Give
Star Wars
and Marvel.
is iconic.
You guys
Like, yeah,
can have
Marvel.
it.
I love Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah, but anything else.
So where do you? Where's
I
this
mean,
place? Where's-
well, that's why I was like laughing at the beginning of this conversation because Christy was like, she's like, no, the apps aren't the way to go, and I'm sitting here like,
I'm so
That's how I went.
But no, it's not. I was just
don't
thinking
make fun
about
of
that.
my eHarmony account over
'Cause-
here, Christy. My eHarmony account's on point.
But you're
no,
relearning.
My pictures are on point.
I think that's
My
perfect.
bio is on point.
Because that was going to be one of my questions. What are your boundaries on dating? Is it not online dating? Is it? And that's okay to have. Like everybody
Yeah.
has a different view of what there is. I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, I think, and that was the thing. I think
Yeah.
that's the options that Alex had was like
Yeah.
apps, and like you're jumping back and you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna do an app. Like that's what everyone's
Well,
doing
and then
now.
shit,
And so
like, okay, so
You can't go to the
just-
bar, right?
Just to put it like
No.
over the airwaves, like there's dating in like this area, the Coachella Valley, has zero interest for me. Like,
But that's like everywhere. So we think that it's only, it's where I live. But it's genuinely everywhere. Like I'm saying, it's a dating desert. Like even in the world, like I've heard the statistics, people are like having less sex than they've ever had in history. Like hookup culture's even gone. I'm like, what's going on? That's why I was like, what is going on? Is it like this fear of getting married, this fear of partnership, this fear of vulnerability, even when it comes to fulfilling needs? Like I'm like, that's insane. Like, you know.
For me, honestly, it's just I don't like everyone knows my story here.
Yeah.
So like I have zero interest in like reminiscing with anybody.
So you don't want to network.
Like,
you don't want to do the network way because you don't want them to.
It's not the networking. I just don't. It's no one here. Like I don't know why. It's just like it's a hard no for me.
Yeah.
So it's just so like, and then I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
it's convenient.
It's wild. So no, it's 100% convenience because like, never mind. Anyway, it's just, yes, it's convenient.
Never mind.
I love it when you end with never mind. I'm like, oh, I'm in it now.
We need it. We need it. Come on.
I have intrusive thoughts. And so, like, I'm trying to be good right now on this subject. I'm just saying, like, it's convenient when you have to use the restroom and it's just like, yeah, let me go through this real quick. There's nothing romantic about it. It's just like, it's a convenient spot. I'm alone. I'm a single dad with 3 kids. Like, the toilet's the spot.
The quietest spot in the house.
But, like, you know, there's nothing romantic about being like, man, I found your mom on the toilet when I was on the e-harms. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what are you talking about?
I never even thought like those kind of things.
I don't think you should ever tell someone that, even if it's true. Like, say you were out for a walk getting sun and you were scrolling.
Nah, girl. I was moving his BM. You don't even know. You don't even know.
I'm embarrassed for you right now. Yeah. I'm like secondhand embarrassment.
If you guys are.
We're all getting it.
Alex really doesn't care anymore. He's like, you know what?
So I think
look, this is how I'll put it. Okay, I feel I was an old man when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like old man at 18, and there was like a point like when I hit 25 where it's just like I don't give a rip anymore. Like I just don't like I'll take care of myself, like I'll take showers and things like that nature. Like I'm not so far gone like where it's just like I smell like my dog all day. Like I'm not that level. It's just like as far as just who I am and like what I say and what comes out of my mouth, I'm just kind of at this point. It's like take it or leave it. But for me, like if that means me waiting longer for that person, then dope. Like cool.
I'll wait.
I'll wait.
I'll
stink and wait because it's like this is it. Like. And not to say like I can't grow as a human being, because I think as human beings, especially like in my relationship with Jesus, like I'm gonna grow, of course, but like I feel like I'm just at a point where it's like I'm completely content with who I am as a human being, and it's like this is it. So if you're not game, then cool. Like don't waste my time. I'm not gonna waste yours. Right. And like if you're into it, then cool. Like let's get into it and see what happens. But
so
it is what it is.
So with using the app, not on the toilet.
That's all I can picture now.
I know. On a walk on the park.
I know
I'm a visual person.
For all of our listeners, if you got swipe righted, they was on the toilet.
Hopefully he edits that out.
He's not going to.
It's going to be Rob. No, so we got the you're dating through the app. Are you finding people that are like the same way, like just straight to the point?
No, it's worse.
Like, hey,
it's worse than if you did it in like in real life. Yeah, Christy's 100% correct. Date normally, seriously, like date
or
normally.
Even DM someone. That's weird, but even do that.
No, it's wild out there. It's wild. It is a wild space.
Like I'm scared for my kids, and I think that's the thing. It's
someone asked me to pay their cell phone bill one time. Yeah,
on an app.
Oh yeah.
Did they even have your number yet?
No, just through the app. They're like, yo, like
I want to talk.
Yeah, I want to talk. Pay my bill, and I'm just like, what is this?
Goodness. Oh goodness.
What depths have I fallen into?
You know what though? You keep saying about your kids, like you're scared, but I'm like, you guys raise your kids in such community. Like I do think if you have a healthy view of community, you know how to make friends. Like so much of relationships is being a friend, right?
And that's the thing we really get down. Even if our kids have a crush on someone, I'm like, be a good friend. Yes. That's where it's gonna start. Yes. You just be. I don't care if they like this person. I don't care if you're not gonna get married later. Like, just be a good friend to everyone, and that way your relationship is built on friendship. But I'm worried because I do have one who's very like antisocial. Like he hates it, and so I'm like, dang, that's how he's gonna find somebody, and then he's gonna get his heart broken, and then it's just gonna be confusing. So yeah, and then,
he needs a 8.
He needs an 8.
And
He just
he-
walks up there
Which
and
one?
says,
Like
you
his
are mine.
mama.
My
Wyatt.
older, you know.
Yeah.
He's gonna need like, hey, I like you.
Why needs a girl that's gonna take the reins on it and be like, yo, you're mine now, and why just be like, all right.
All right. Yeah, and he will. And he'll
Right.
just love that person to death. Like,
Yeah.
that's
She's
how
gonna
it
be
is.
treated like a queen for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
But I was when we were talking about the apps, I was like, okay, Alex, so when do you know when to turn the app off? When do you know when to get rid of it? Like how far in do you have to be? Because there is so many options available. It's like, and then how can you be fully committed to dating this one person if you've got these conversation starters
Yes.
with all these other people? And how do you, then it was like the ghosting thing, how ghosting has become so normal. So now you've just made yourself look bad because you're about to ghost 15 other girls you've been talking to because you finally locked in on this one. And
I
then
think-
it might not work, and then you're gonna reach back out and be like, "Sorry, I messed up."
I think
Alex.
general rule
Not
of
that you did that,
thumb.
but
No,
you
no,
had
no.
that
But I
done to
think
you.
general
You had
rule
it
of
done
thumb
to
is like
you.
if we don't meet up in person, like there ain't nothing there. Like we're talking on an app.
Yeah, but like the app, it gives you a rush. Like, it makes you feel like
No,
you're in like these
and
15 relationships and you're not. And at what point does that?
But do you remember what I was saying?
become
Like,
extremely unhealthy, you know?
there's you gotta step in, which is like, you know, when you're asking anybody that's willing to like use, you know, like Tinder or something, like how much personal responsibility is there really? But you have to practice some personal responsibility when you're using these things. Like, you can't just go in and like,
Flirt with everyone.
yeah, you like. I just feel like that's
Casting a wide net
but
to see.
but I know that's like how it's used. Like I
Yeah.
know that's how people use it 100%. And like that's any app, and there's so many. there's a lot.
Peanuts
Of,
all over
Okay,
them.
wait.
there's a lot of
I have a
options.
question. I have a
But
question.
anyway,
I have a question, Alex.
Yeah.
I love
Are
What?
you
What do you
on
want?
Bumble?
no.
What is
So
a- what is a
okay, so
Bumble?
you're only on apps that the girl. So the thing about Bumble is the
Do tell
girl.
us. Educate us on that.
Okay.
app,
I'm
Christy.
technically.
far as I
I
know,
want to make
I'm-
it clear right now, though. I'm not on anything.
Oh,
Good job,
good.
Alex.
So the thing about Bumble that I've heard is that the girl always makes the first move. So it says a lot about a guy if he's on Bumble. Like, are you okay with that? You know, kind of thing. Like, so if you're on the other ones, then you're just shooting your shot with like so many
Yeah.
girls. But if
And
a
see,
girl
that's
reaches out-
why like I don't like. So yes, convenience 100%, but it's weird because it's like you're like window shopping.
Yeah.
It is a weird. It is that's a weird
And then
thing.
you're basing it off of what they look
Yeah.
like, and so then that's.
And if you really break down online dating, what it is, it's a game of quantity.
Yeah.
So it's how many, how many like if
Like,
you
'cause
put
you
out
match,
100,
don't you?
I'm at least get 5 matches if I put 100 out there. You know what I mean? So it's like this weird game of like, so I don't know. All that to say, like, to answer, like, when do you know? Like, my thing is, like, it's not real until we meet in person.
Okay, so you don't mind ghosting the girls that you've even said hi
No,
to?
I won't
or-
ghost. I'll be honest. I'll be like, hey,
I met
this
somebody?
ain't a thing.
Oh.
Or, like this. Yeah, I'll be honest. If it's not going anywhere,
Okay.
like, that's my thing. And that's where I feel like honesty is, like, key. If it's not going anywhere, then I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not going to waste my time with you. I'm not going to waste my time with this. Like, I'm not, like, let's be mutually respectful about our time and go.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
This
too
ain't-
old for that. You're too old to mess around. Like, at
Yeah,
the end
and
of the
see,
day, like,
that's the
yeah.
other part of. See, that's the other part of this too. Is like being 30 years old. You would think like I'm dealing with other 30-year-olds. I would deal with mature, fully grown, frontal lobal human beings. They some wrecks out there, Kara. They some wreck. I'm not saying I'm not a wreck, like, because the reality is like I'm still a bro. Like, and see, that's the whole other thing to this too. Is I know what I bring to the table, and it's not the best. I mean, I have 3 boys. I joke around when I call them baggage. They're not baggage, like, at all. Like, anybody who comes to the realization that I'm not the catch in this relationship, it's those 3 knuckleheads. Like, they're the ones who are bringing the jam. Like, they just are. And so when someone realizes that, for me, that's like gonna be the biggest thing. Like, cool, yeah, you can love me. Like, I don't feel like I'm hard to love. You don't mind me talking about your weight, like.
Okay, so really quick.
That's really
Really quick for those that are listening, I want to know what you guys are using or how you guys are dating. Those that are in their 40s or those that are even younger, how are you navigating that? Because that lets us know and lets other people know how you guys are dealing with it. But I also I think Christy kind of hit it on the head, and I'm excited just to hear some of it because it's what you're also putting into your kids. So those that have kids and that you want your kids to grow up, in a Christian relationship or look that, then you need to mimic it. So not only when you're looking for a relationship, you need to be what you're looking for,
That
but
model.
that model.
model
But
for
then if
them.
you're a mom and a dad bringing up those children, then you be in their life and be that model to them. And then community sounds like it's so important, because if you're building up these kids to be outspoken, be Christ loving, be that, then it's going to be easier for them to navigate and to see those people and to understand, right? I think that's like.
Are you saying dating if you have kids? Sorry.
He's talking about for kids in the future, but I think for people.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
For even dating as older now, not even worried about just our kids, but becoming what you want to attract.
Yeah.
Right? Not just portraying it, but actually being it, so that kind of weeds out those things that you don't want, right? They're going to immediately be turned off. And then the community, I think, even for you guys as you're dating, so that you know whether or not it's healthy. Like those people who you trust will tell you, like, hey, I don't know if this is right for you. Or I don't know. We haven't met Alex's girl yet, but I'm going to tell you if I got a vibe. I'll tell you.
Alex has a girl?
I mean,
Listen, Christy, there's a reason I'm not on the apps right now.
because he did the right thing and he deleted those apps. He's done until, well, hopefully we like her, but.
We talking.
Talking stage.
Yeah.
Situationship.
Yeah, see, like that's the other thing. See, like there's so many. Yeah, there's so many labels now out there.
Oh my god.
I used to just call it limbo. I was in the cart. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the Amazon cart right now, and we're gonna see if the card goes through or if it gets declined.
I didn't even have that. It was literally like, I meet you, I'm there. Like that's my personality. So dang. And
that's how I would like. Can I be honest? That's how I would like it to be. That would be so much easier. So like how you were talking, like the spectrum of love, right? Why is that show so good? Because there's no nonsense. Like they just come in. This is what I like. Do you like these things? Nope. We ain't gonna work.
Love on the Spectrum. Mm-mm. Oh my gosh! So it's about like special needs adults dating. So like autism, Down syndrome. Oh my gosh, it is so pure. I watched the whole season. I started following a couple of them because I was like, I just love this, because that is, our son with autism. That's very much how he is. Like he met this girl, 5th grade, whatever, he was in it. He was like, we're getting married, and I had to break it down to him statistically. You're not. It's not going to work out. She ghosted him like last year. And his heart was so broken because he texted her and he said, did I do something wrong? And she just left it unread, and I had to explain to him. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's not you. You did nothing. You're young, and that's how it is. But the way they love is so pure and just honest. They're like, hey, I like the color green. I like this game and this is it. They're not playing games. Yeah, like they just want connection. Yeah. And when they find it, then they're in it. They're not searching for others. They're like, no, we had a connection. We're staying. Yeah. This is it. So it is, yeah. And that's what I was used to. That's what I got. And that's what my kids are expecting now. But I have
you might be able, because I do believe like community is everything. Like, and I think if your kids grow up in a stable environment and surrounded by community, which they are, those kids tend to get married or be more open to marriage young. Mm-hmm. Also, it's just situations. Like, I always think, like, the reason I didn't really date that much and stuff was because I literally moved 20 times by the time I was 20. It was insane. Like,
that's you.
Yeah. But I moved within county lines.
Yeah.
So I was around the same community.
It's not like I only moved countries once and states once, and then the rest was like, kind of like that. So... But that instability made me crave stability. Yes, I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want, so that's why, like, I was like, I want stability. I need that. My kids need that. Yes, and that's why you guys are breaking that generational curse. I mean, me and Candace say it all the time. Like, we're gonna break things, and like even the place we've lived right now, we've lived there. I think almost it's like 6 years, almost 7 years, which is like the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my life. And I'm like, and it's just like so beautiful to feel, like almost.
And people who have like Dave grew up in the home that we're in now. Yeah. So he's like, oh, that's my house. Like he doesn't understand that feeling of like
there's new.
This feels good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but you know what? Honestly, we don't have the perfect answer. Mm-hmm. The perfect answer always relies in Christ. I think, like we said, it's becoming who you want to attract. It's for those that are still, that have kids that are, they need to mimic that to their kids. I think that,
open and honest, like Alex was saying, just letting them know, like, from the beginning, what you're expecting out of this relationship.
Not brutally honest, just honest.
Not like ask them their weight, but like,
and that's.
But
I just want to make it clear before we go, because this is going to end up horrible. I have never, ever on any date, there's no camera looking at me. I don't know why I'm looking, but it's because I want to make sure I'm communicating this clearly. Never have I ever on any date been like, girl, how much you weigh? Tell me.
It was a joke.
How far can I talk?
About $150, girl.
Hold on, say it again. I've got you recorded.
Thank you. I have never on any date asked a woman how much she weighed. That's all I have to say.
Well, awesome. Again, with that, I'm going to bring it back to Alex. I would, if you guys are listening to this today, again, we would like your feedback, but as well, we would love to serve alongside of you. Beyond this, we're just some people who love Jesus and are asking just questions that maybe, you're wondering, or maybe that's even on your mind or someone's come across. So that's just what we're doing. But if you guys have any questions, let us know. And then come out and serve with us. We're delivering food boxes each weekend. We're loving our community back to life. There's an opportunity that there's some single people that come along and volunteer with us. So you know what? Showing Christ.
We have had a couple of
Oh, yeah.
relationships.
That's
a great way to meet.
Yeah.
That's a great. You're
Being
attracting what you
selfless,
are. Yeah.
you're
absolutely.
a great-
So,
that does happen.
Come go
Come,
door
ladies.
go door to door and pray with maybe your new boo. I don't know, but
There's nothing like a mission trip crush. I'll
that's
tell you that.
it. And your mission trip could be right in your own
Yes,
backyard, right here in the Coachella Valley. We serve again Saturdays 9 to 11. I'm going to bring it back to Alex. He can close us up and maybe pray it out.
Yeah, you are. What is that called when a pastor becomes a pastor? What's the word? Ordained. You could marry them here in the warehouse.
I could. Yeah.
He's so worried
When a
about
pastor
marrying
becomes
people.
a pastor.
I totally
I forgot
am.
the word, Christy.
know,
Let's wrap
like,
this up.
if he's a
Goodness
pastor,
gracious. Let's wrap this up. Bunch of eights over here. My goodness gracious. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to thank Christy again so much for being here with us today. It has been a pleasure. Of course, it's been another fun episode. So this is Alex saying love, peace, and chicken grease, and we'll catch you next time. El Mero Mero.
Yep.
Miss Kara.
Bye.
And we out.
Bye.